I'm Koda.
And I'm Isyander.
And
I hate that every time. Go on.
We're flip-flop it today. We're diverting from our normal 40k verse stuff for a different brand of grimdark sci-fi fun. 40k's older brother, yes, 3 years older, Battletech. I've been edging a lore video for quite a while now, either with my interspersed mentions of like my childhood obsession with Mech Assault, or whatever I'm doing with my minis. My Battlemaster was received quite well in the last episode.
How do people like it?
Yeah, well, because I told the story of how like I walked into the gym with my hands looking all red and bloody, and I'm like, oh, it's acrylic paint. It's from a mini I was painting red, and then I showed the aforementioned mini. Yeah, and I was actually
loved it.
I was kind of happy with that. Thank you for all of your wonderful comments and criticisms on that one. I'm still trying to improve.
More vicious criticism.
Please, more actually more vicious criticism. I want to get better. This one is like it's okay. I like the way it looks. To be fair, I don't think this red one is like my best work. I'd frankly say that purple one and that blue one there are with a close third is that camo. Yeah, I'll put pictures up while I'm talking about them because it's too far away from
listeners. One is purple, one is blue.
One is purple, one is blue, one is camo.
And they're done pretty well, actually.
Yeah, the camo's decent. So we're going to begin with a bit of a preface, and it's going to be a bit of a long one. Battletech history is going to be real-life history up until about the year 1988. That means literally everything. The American Revolutionary War, the 7 Years' War, World War I, World War II, the First Cold War, Watergate, everything. It also means that modern Battletech history can also trace its roots directly back to some things that have happened in our modern-ish contemporary history, such as some things like the noble houses. House Cameron, who go on to form basically what boils down to Space UN, get their start when a guy named Ewan earns his knighthood at age 70 from King James IV of Scotland in 1505. House Merrick, whose earliest records go back to World War I, when their family was upheaved after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who then got their paper back up just in time to have it all seized by Mr. Funny Mustache Man during the occupation of Czechoslovakia in 1938, and leading to distant ancestor Antonin Myrick, who fights Funny Mustache goons in the Royal Air Force. Yeah. Or House Koda, the rulers of this area of space, the Draconis Combine, who can trace their lineage directly back to real-life Takeo Koda, Vice Admiral of the Imperial Japanese Navy, and Commander-in-Chief of the Daini Kantai, which included the infamous Yamato and Musashi battleships, which were at the time the biggest battleships of anything that anybody had. Now, you might have noticed that everything I've mentioned so far is very war-ish, and I think that's kind of on purpose.
It's a tabletop war game.
I mean, yeah, it's a tabletop war game, but also it like really bleeds through some of the internal like story of the game. Like, Battletech is in universe kind of rooted in some of the worst of the human spirit. War, greed, and general self-centeredness are kind of, they just run through everything.
It's a tabletop war game. This is a consistent thread for all of them. There's never a war game that's predicated on humanity being the best it's ever been and we all worked together and nobody ever stabbed anybody in the back ever or the front.
Yeah.
Like,
but even when humanity is doing the best it ever can, it's still trying to kill itself.
No.
In Battletech it is.
Oh, again, war game.
Fair enough.
Like all of them. Well, hold on. No, I can't think of any.
No.
I cannot think of any that are not some form of deep, systemic, eternal conflict.
Yep, even Plants vs. Zombies is eternal conflict.
That's not a tabletop game.
It's a war game.
It's not a tabletop game.
You're doing battle.
No, that's a reach and a half. No, a line must be drawn. That's where it's being drawn.
You're telling me the apocalypse isn't the ultimate war game?
No, it's not.
Even if it's plants that are fighting for the side of humanity?
Gotta have toy soldiers. I don't see toy soldiers. It's not real.
You're telling me the pea shooter isn't a toy soldier?
Is there a model of it? Can I paint it?
Actually, I think so, yeah.
Really?
There might be a tabletop Plants vs. Zombies.
No.
I will look this up after. I swear I've heard of it.
Maybe I'll eat crow.
You might. I think you're gonna eat
standard
crow.
fare for most of these tabletop games.
It's still it's very real in Battletech. Like if you go to the Battletech wiki, the first thing on the timeline after like the Camerons.
That can't be how you pronounce wiki.
Wiki.
That can't be how
Wiki?
you pronounce. I'm
Wiki?
I've known you for so long. That is unacceptable. That can't be how that word is saved.
Wiki.
Wiki.
Wiki?
It's an I, not
Wiki.
2 E's.
Wiki.
Okay, go on. I apologize.
If you go to the Battletech wiki, you can find the timeline. The first 3 events are
I didn't say anything.
The first 3 events are Ewan Cameron's birth, knighting, and then death. And then right after that, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. So it's like real war. Like 40K is very comedic. It's very like big, so large, it's almost incomprehensible.
Sometimes it's real.
Yeah, sometimes it can get
It gets real.
really real.
Yeah.
The Battletech is real all the time.
Uh-huh.
I'm
looking at the cover and I'm seeing a mech ripping another mech's arm off. So how real?
And then you look and you see that that's a residential area they're in.
Damn.
Almost perfect timing on that one. I got my own in real life vine boom from a construction truck.
Thank you for the assistance. Let's hope you don't do that again.
I have my own funk track in the background beating my point in.
Yeah, I did not notice that's a residential area.
Yeah, that's a parking garage.
Yeah, it is a parking garage. Those are just apartments.
Yeah, this is just apartments.
So much more fun when the war is happening, and there's a hive way off in the background.
Yeah, no. This is like it's kind of really real.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of boil it down to, in 40K, the indomitable human spirit is all that keeps humanity alive, and in Battletech, it's kind of the reason humanity keeps eating itself alive.
Okay.
So yeah. With that said, let's start with the history of Battletech with, as any grimdark universe should, the inauguration of President Ronald Reagan in 1981. But before that, let's inaugurate our sponsors. You guys. Yes, over on patreon.com/Isyander and Koda, you can find tons of bonus episodes, double the ones you see here on YouTube, in fact. Access to our community Discord, where we have a lovely little community. And monthly-ish streams. We're trying to up the number. We're gonna see if we're gonna try bi-weekly, I think, at some point, and see what happens there. But that's long-term goals. As well as that, you get to just have the pride of supporting the show. We have many lights and many cameras. Our power constraints are a constant problem, and so you guys get to help power the show, keep the lights on, and keep this running.
Yeah. They're the reasons why I can't stare directly at the lights anymore, which is a big improvement.
Basically the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even at full power. They're at like 65% power.
And they heat the room.
Quite a bit. If you'll ever notice...
Great in the winter, not so much in the summer.
If you ever see us sweating, it's because it's midsummer and this place is not very well insulated, and we have the blaring heat from these lights down on us.
And if you're an audio listener, you wouldn't have noticed any of that.
Yeah, well... Now you can paint the picture in your mind's eye of your 2 favorite podcast co-hosts. Damp.
Yeah.
My back is stuck to the seat at this point.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, well, I am, unfortunately. So I'm not going to do a full timeline this video, as much as I seem to really love timelines, judging from my last several videos, excluding maybe the Blackbird video, being just timelines. They're just timelines. But like I said, the Intersphere's history is so closely related to real life history that we're going to add some context with a little timeline. Just like a short timeline. Just a smidge of timeline. Just a pinch.
A sprinkle.
Just a sprinkle. So we can walk on understanding what we're working with. Hot off the heels of World War II, the first Cold War is in full effect. Nuclear proliferation, satellite states of the USSR and the US duking it out in a war of ideologies and economic systems. The space race has fully run its course at this time, and a man has been put on the moon. Cuban Missile Crisis just happened. For more information, seek the music video for "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel. What else do I have to say? Which, by the way, has some kind of terrifying images during it.
Like bad or?
like horrifying.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's got in the background of him, like interspersed with the segments of what I assume are his growing up, like burning images of like historical events, and they're all just terrible, just awful. Watch the music video; it's kind of it's harrowing. So Reagan is elected, and in the 4th year of his term, he starts the SDI program. You might know this as Star Wars. Yes, Battletech starts with Star Wars. Not that Star Wars, that Star Wars.
Space-based kinetic energy weapons fire high-speed projectiles from hypervelocity guns, intercepting enemy missiles as they are boosted through the atmosphere.
So the SDI actually, breaking from real-life history, finishes. Like, in real life, it didn't get very far. It was like around for maybe 3-4 years and then immediately got defunded. In Battletech, they actually finish what they started. Like the Excalibur anti-missile rockets, they finish them and they start deploying them into space. Like in 1985, it's a full-fledged program. Then in 1988, we take a hard swing from real-life history when Gorbachev does more than tear down that wall, and he tears down the entire USSR. Gorbachev attempts to clumsily westernize the new Russian Federation, completely adopting Western capitalist tendencies. Badly. It still has a bunch of its satellite states, some of which are still, like, they remain socialist, like the Afghan Soviet Socialist Republic, because yes, when we pulled out of Afghanistan mid-Cold War, they immediately finished up that whole endeavor and went socialist instead of capitalist and what they are now, because...
Could you look at that camera and then repeat the name of that country one more time?
The Afghan Soviet Socialist Republic, yes.
Okay, cool. Now, in editing, you're going to have to add like a Fox News ticker beneath you. Because that's the only time I think I was ever going to hear those words put together.
Is in a lore history video on Battletech?
Yeah. So, no, not on a lore history. No, on Fox News.
Yeah.
That's the only time I would hear those words slammed together.
I wonder if there is actually...
Vaguely shouty.
I wonder if there is actually a Fox News in... Like, when did Fox News actually start?
A while ago. Rupert Murdoch is not young.
Okay.
So
maybe there was a Fox News talking about the Afghan Soviet Socialist Republic.
Over 40?
Yeah.
I'd say over 40 probably.
Yeah. So maybe, the 80s. That'd be about right for this.
Because I know CNN is old. So the other ones. Yeah, my gut's telling me Fox News is pretty old.
Yeah. So there's probably still a segment in Battletech history where we have Fox News hosts shouting, "Transgender immigrants are dropping sexy M&Ms from Chinese balloons."
It only works if you're shouting it from a retirement home, but yes.
Yeah, you're not wrong. With a volume way too loud. Maybe you'll crank up the gain in editing, and that's how it'll get loud. So with that, the first Cold War ends, and with it, so does defense spending associated with wartime, which this is where
I can't spend that. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of silly that is what happens, because, I mean, maybe this is...
No war, stop spending on
it. You could argue that maybe in the real world, that is when that make or break period started. Like, the Cold War was when our defense spending skyrocketed, because to be fair, it was post-nukes, too. Like...
I'm fairly certain it skyrocketed for World War II and just never quit.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I mean, Eisenhower was giving warnings about the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
So...
And World War I was kind of just a war of, like, look at all of these new toys we have.
Well, yes, but also, look at how many horrible ways we can murder teenagers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, World War II was kind of like that, too.
To a lesser extent.
Everybody was sending their own teenagers to war.
Are there still kids at the front line?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, World War I is special. Like, trench foot.
Yeah, trench foot was bad. You can still get trench foot if you're not careful.
Oh, I know you can.
Yeah.
The Army puts out a little pamphlet on how to prevent it.
I've heard a funny story of like, and I've seen it turn into a comedy bit too, because it just kind of happens sometimes. When you get like leather cowboy boots, one of the ways that you fit them, if they don't fit entirely properly, is you soak them while you're wearing them in warm water, and the leather contracts to the your own feet, to the shape of your foot. Some people mistake that for both in and outside the boot.
So they just give themselves trench foot?
And they just give themselves trench foot.
Do you know how long you have to soak it for a trench foot to set in?
Yeah. Well, you have to soak the boots with your feet on them for like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, can you get trench foot that? I don't think you can get it.
It depends on the temperature of the water, yeah.
Oh, yeah, warm water, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go out for 3 hours and experiment and report back like I got trench foot.
I don't want trench foot. I'm not going to lie. I really don't want trench foot. It sounds awful.
I actually recently saw, and I wish I could remember the artist's name because I really want to credit them.
A trench foot artist?
No. On the concept of war and the horrors of it. They drew the Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, I've seen this project. They couldn't bring themselves to draw war as something badass and...
Well, no, what they did is they split war. First comes conquest, and it's a very cool looking knight. Like it's war as you expect, right?
Yeah.
And then behind it is war on an equally cool looking horse, but it's like a child chained onto it with like a massive weapon and a crown.
I saw something similar, but kind of the opposite. It was a child chained to a starving, decrepit horse.
Was the horse decrepit?
The horse was decrepit.
Okay.
With a crown of shrapnel.
Yeah. No, same piece we're thinking of.
Okay.
And the massive sword, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was strapped to their back, cutting into it.
Okay, I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Grim. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I quite like that.
The description was harrowing. It was them saying, I couldn't bring myself to like depict war as something grand and badass. It's not. It's ugly and it's gross and it's terrifying, and usually it affects the children more than it does the actual state actors that engage in it.
It's a bunch of old men setting a bunch of young men to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible stuff.
Which is why I maintain, like, the VA sucks, because, yeah, say what you will about the government and what wars they go to, the people who always get the shit end of both sticks are the people who actually go fight, which is why I will never give them shit, because, like, you're just... there's no winning for you, unfortunately.
And it's something that like the best tabletop games do a good job of showing. Like I'm sure Battletech will too, and 40K does really often, where there's a real feeling that permeates any good war museum, in my opinion, where you will see these photos of war, machines of war, right? And you will always notice, for most conflicts, I'm going to say Nom and back, honestly, but I haven't been to many museums for Nom and forward.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't speak on that, but Nom and back, you'll see these massive machines of war.
I mean, I've been told to watch the series Generation Kill, based off of the book Generation Kill, which goes over some people's experiences in, I think, the Afghanistan war.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's the same story.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, so these massive machines of war, the fronts they're on, the things they brought with them, the uniforms they wore, and then when it gets to the soldiers, it's always so strange to be looking at a child in most situations.
Yeah.
Like, we recently went to a maritime museum, and they had a display of these flags that Japanese soldiers would carry into war with them in World War II that were basically well wishes, hey, come back soon. Beat there, you know, like, you know,
get the ass.
Yeah, you know, with all kinds of little things. And there's a project to bring these flags back to their families.
Because it was just kids being sent to war at the behest of the, like, I'll be honest, very nationalist state.
And when you look at the pictures of the soldiers who had these flags, because they take like a family picture with the flag, all the signatures and all the people, it's like they look like kids.
No, they are kids.
Yeah.
It's like 14 and up.
So that's why I quite liked that artist's rendition of war, where you have the glory of conquest, always very pretty looking, and then behind it you have what war really entails.
It's the difference between being a commissioned and non-commissioned officer.
Oh, I wish I could remember their name. I'm sure you'll put it up and put like a little thing if you can find it.
Yeah, I mean, there are pictures of these flags because we took a lot.
Oh, not the the flags, yes, but the art piece I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I'll try and look for it. But yeah, that is all to say that, like, war bad, and in Battletech it ends quickly. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, before I mentioned that, you were mentioning that it feels like it might be the same in Battletech. Not really, because a lot of the...
Do they glorify it?
The mech pilots do.
Oh,
but we don't get the stories of everybody else, because there are people who just, like, Battletech is kind of a story of combined arms. Like, you have tanks, you have planes, you have helicopters. We don't talk about those pilots. We don't give a shit. but the people who have the battle mechs,
They get all the screen time.
they get all the screen time, and the way they get screen time is they're very similar to the night houses from 40K, where my family has had this mech for generations on generations on generations, and I will take it into battle to fight against the low-standing Capellans.
Again, it's the night thing of war is really cool when you're heavily armed and they're peasants.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, to be fair, they also have knights, and they can still get you, but your family and your, like, low noble house will still, like, glorify you when you head out to war.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, unless you're a mercenary, in which case you
parades?
just do it for money.
Do they do the parades?
Yeah, all of these paints are not actual, except for this one, these two, and that one, are parade paints, parade schemes. Either ones that I came up with or ones that I've seen, like, researching what schemes
Because you would totally
that people
use mechs in giant army parades.
Yeah. That's just a parade scheme. This is just a parade scheme.
You're telling me red has no combat purpose?
No, it doesn't.
There's no red environment for them to blend into?
No, bright blue with checkered on it.
You know, I was being really snarky. Mars is pretty red. Like, if this is if this is war taking place across the galaxy, who am I to say blue doesn't work on Europa?
Yeah, fair enough.
Like,
yeah, but blue with a white and red stripe.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Now, House Davians, I screwed up. I reversed the red and white stripe, so this is not technically House Davian's parade scheme, but it does look really cool with the navy blue and the red and white stripe.
No, it's good.
Yeah,
it matches the red of the is that a glass dome?
That is a glass dome. Well,
I know it's like
future glass.
It's future glass. It can't be shot at.
Yeah, well, it can be shot at. In fact, whenever you get a cockpit hit in the game, the pilot immediately takes an injury and needs to pass a save to not pass out.
That's great.
Right?
Okay.
Anyway, that's in the future. We're still back at the end of the Cold War, where everyone suddenly getting rid of their defense spending sends the globe into an entire depression. It's bad. Western states decide to get cozy together and do a bunch of economic, rigmarole to
economic unions, trade deals.
Exactly, to not immediately collapse. But the Russian Federation, having just become capitalist, doesn't have any of these connections, and they just fall kind of into this depression, like, hard. In the 90s, a lot of these Western states continue to militarize space because it got used once, it's scary. And they rename the Star Wars program into the Western Orbital Defense Network, or WODEN, which is, I guess, the original name for Odin, or an original pronunciation for Odin.
With a W?
With a W. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what I learned when I was researching this.
Okay.
Yeah. Russia's internal stresses begin to extend to some of that outer space, as they are the cause of the first actual conflict in space, with a fist fight occurring on their Soyuz 8 space station between a Russian crew member and an Afghan Soviet Socialist Republican cosmonaut.
You have to look at the camera every time you say
that. An Afghan Soviet Socialist Republic cosmonaut.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Because again, I can only picture it as like a headline.
Yeah.
Go on.
The fist fight's not fatal, but it is like something you'd see out of a bar fight. It's brutal. There's bruises.
This stuff happens in the real world where you have border disputes, and we don't want to start a war, so we won't shoot at each other. But
I am going to be really angry with you. The North and South of Ireland would like to have your number.
I think they did a lot more than put the Dukes up.
They did, in fact, do a lot more than put the Dukes up.
Yeah. Quite a bit more.
Leading to 1997, where disgruntled citizens of the Russian Federation, nostalgic for the USSR, decide to overthrow the government and create a wonderful sequel, USSR 2, starting Civil War 2 as well, or Cold War 2 as well, excuse me. Defense spending...
So do these former Soviet members of the Soviet... Do these former members of the USSR...
The Warsaw Pact states?
Yeah. Do they just go, yeah, you know what? It's pretty cool. Let me back in.
They have no power. They're in the Warsaw Pact still. Yeah. They don't operate independently. They've been satellite states this entire time. The Russian Federation did not release them.
Okay. All right, never mind. They don't really get a choice.
Nope, they don't get a choice. So they're Soviet again.
Yep. Pull the flags down, Jerry.
Yeah. It's that bit from I think it's The Simpsons where Lenin wakes up from his grave and this Russia starts throwing out communist flags again.
I did not know he was a character in The Simpsons.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
I think it's just for a bit, but I'm surprised you're not seeing that clip.
I
It
have
gets
not.
turned into
All
a
I do
meme.
know about Lenin recently is somebody went to his grave and left a labubu on it.
That's awesome. Did he immediately start rolling?
I think that person spun him a millimeter.
Yeah.
I think
At
that
the very
action
least.
made him spin 1
At
millimeter.
the very least. Yep. With the Cold War, the second Cold War starting.
Somebody has to have left a Funko Pop on it at some point, right?
Probably.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Is there a Lenin Funko
Yeah, I was
Pop?
thinking the same thing. Does
Yeah.
he have a Funko Pop? Because I know, like, it's figures from pop culture, so
I mean, I wouldn't
There's
call him a
no
pop.
there's no shot there's a Lenin Funko. Is there?
It's a fan-made production.
Okay.
So it's not
It's not the official.
It's not official.
I'm surprised they've resisted the temptation to give us the president's Funko Pops.
But people have created them.
Okay.
That's funny. Anyway, second Cold War leads to ramping up of orbital defense networks, with a central station being added to the Woden that basically builds more of those Excalibur missile sites, and more Star Wars. Star Wars is ramping up. It's the largest satellite project built up to this point. Like, it eclipses the why am I blanking on the ISS? Why am I blanking on the name of the ISS? It's larger than that. It's huge.
You won't need to remember it in a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's coming down.
Yep.
I thought that was
I think
this
somewhere
year.
off the coast of South America.
Yeah. Well,
Point Nemo, yeah.
yeah.
That's where we just shunt everything.
Sure, why not? I'm
Apparently-
sorry, South America.
Apparently, the currents there are the reason why.
Really?
It will not scatter the rubble too far.
Oh, so it can be collected.
Cleaned up easier.
Okay, that makes sense. So we're not just leaving it there.
Or frankly, like, we don't have bits of ISS floating around in the ocean because that can't be good for sea life.
No, it can't.
You know?
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, that's where we mostly decommission satellites.
Okay.
I think that's where we land astronauts too.
No, we usually try to get them a little closer, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember. Don't.
And the
quote me
space
on
shuttle
that.
does just land at an
Not
airstrip in
this-
Florida.
I'm not talking the space shuttle. I'm talking.
Which, by the way, is the hardest aircraft to land, from everything I understand, because it's a lifting body aircraft, which means
Yeah.
its wings don't work. And when you're at like the falling stage, all of the controls are reversed.
Yeah.
So in a plane you'd go right and left to go left. In the shuttle,
It's inverted.
You go left to go right and right
and then
to go
doesn't
left.
it re-invert once you get to
Yeah.
a certain point? No. But I'm talking more about like the pods that are
Yeah.
jettisoned.
I thought it was the re-entry capsules.
Yeah, re-entry. The things that I'm certain are bad on your lower spine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Well,
also, astronauts are pretty physically fit. You have
Yeah.
to be. So
You parachute before you hit the ground. You don't just like
Still-
full Mach 10
it's
into
still
the water.
quite a bit of force.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know.
Fair enough.
Like, I mean, if it was easy, they would let everyone on the ISS.
I'm sure NASA has thought about the padding issue.
Oh, I know they have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Point Nemo is where we shunt all of that.
Yeah.
Real convenient.
Hopefully we clean it up.
Currents are weird. On one hand, I get it. We should clean it up. On the other, there's a lot of currents where if you just drop something, it's winding up somewhere vastly.
Yeah, it's in Australia now.
It's like when, what is it? Portuguese traders would be heading down to the coast of South Africa. The currents and the winds would take them down, if I remember correctly.
Down into like Antarctica?
No, down correctly. But to get back to Portugal, they had to go...
Against it?
No, you couldn't. So you have to swing all the way out to the left towards the Americas, which they didn't know existed at the time, until you catch the winds going in the opposite direction, and then you can make it back to Portugal.
Sure, that's odd.
Yeah, and it's, from what I understand, a deeply terrifying thing because you're going towards what you think is nothingness.
Yeah, you're going to the edge of the
Forever.
world because nobody thought that, like...
I don't think it was edge at the time. I just think there was nothing. You're going into the true nothingness.
Yeah, there's
you know?
just a big ocean there.
Yeah.
Nothing, no island.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so currents are weird, man.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
so.
You drop a space shuttle the wrong place, it winds up in like Guadalajara.
Yeah.
And like, They don't want to deal with that.
No.
You know, not to mention how many turtles it took with it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, the poor turtles. You thought the straws were their biggest enemy. Actually, it was a re-entry capsule.
you need a spot to put that stuff. And I think it's cleaned up. Again, I'm firing from the hip on this.
I do hope so. In Battletech lands, we continue to just nuclear proliferation, smoliferation. It's space proliferation, baby. More defense satellites in space. It's huge. Until in 2004, one Oleg Tikhonov inherits a failing Soviet Union as he rises to the second Soviet Socialist Union's premier position.
Does he have the birthmark too?
I don't think he does. This is a Tikhonov, not a Gorbachev.
Well, but one can hope.
Immediately upon being appointed to this position, he realizes that the USSR is, for lack of a better term, royally screwed. All of this bluster, all of this wartime bluster that they've had going on for the past 7 years has literally just been like an Usopp 10-ton hammer, and Tikhonov is realizing this is not a good time to be doing any form of war. They're ready to collapse from the inside, and so he slowly starts ramping down a lot of the military actions that they're taking, trying to demilitarize, earn some favor with the international community, and not fall into yet another economic depression. These efforts don't stop the launching of that big station into space, because that's kind of what he was trying to do. Is just like, hey, I'm not gonna nuke you. Please don't just be like sitting here satellite spying on me. But it does bring an end to the Second Cold War. By 2011, Tikhonov, with his administration, has completely demilitarized the USSR. He's built a friendly rapport with NATO to the point where the Soviet Union and the United States sign an accord to offer them an economic incentive to let the Warsaw Pact states out of the Warsaw Pact, which is doing really, really well. Like, they're going to let the Warsaw Pacts have their own electoral power. They're not going to meddle, and they're going to be brought out from their economic depression. 4 hours later, Tikhonov is assassinated.
Okay, I guess Eastern Europe didn't want to be Eastern Europe.
No, or somebody didn't want it. So
wait, does this mean? Sorry, is Germany still split?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just
because East Germany was still a Warsaw Pact state. And this lore was written in like the 80s, so it would have been then.
Wow, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, that changes a lot for the EU too.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what it really would change is it means it becomes very
Do you get your Porsches or not?
French dominated. Because Germany kind of, not say dominates the EU right now, but a lot of the time
I'm surprised it's not England.
They're a little bit of the England. You mean Brexit? How are they going to represent
Never
something
mind.
they left?
I forgot you guys did that.
How are they going to represent something they chose to leave?
Maybe this is a universe where Brexit never happened.
It certainly did. Well, I don't know. But a lot of the time the EU...
Bojo is canon.
A lot of the time the EU, it's like... face, or it's really hard to put a face on
because it's a
EU.
union.
It's a union,
you don't
right?
really have a head of state of the EU. It's a union.
It's the French and the Germans. You see a lot of Macron, and you see a lot of the German Prime Minister.
I can't remember their name.
Well, it used to be Merkel, and now it's Olaf Scholz. So you see a lot of them typically, like recently with the whole tariff thing.
Yeah,
it was being negotiated by Ursula von Leyen, German. So in a future where Germany is split like that,
they are not an economic power like that. They are not an EU power.
I mean, they're still probably
they're in the EU, but they're not like
EU. But I think it just means it's French domination.
Yeah,
I think it's
this is the worst universe. The French dominate the EU.
Yeah, strongly or French British.
Yeah,
because the French will always have a pretty strong position in the EU.
That would actually make sense because we're going to skip a little bit to the future. If you look to our lovely, lovely map here, this yellow section of the map is very descended from French and Britain. And that blue side of the map is very descended from Germany.
Okay. So
with a little bit of English and French in there, obviously. But it's mostly the noble house that rules that section of space is German. The noble house that rules this section of space is French English.
So then, yeah, that totally tracks. That probably is the universe they're dealing with.
Yeah, is a French-dominated EU.
French English, probably.
Yeah,
I would say that's
unless
the most
they Brexit.
likely. shake. Yeah, until like they Brexit, then it becomes nothing but French, baby.
Going back, in the first half of the 2010s, after Tikhonov is assassinated, it's just civil war across Russia. The governing parties of the USSR just kind of factionalize into some people who want to go back to the hard communist roots of Russia, and some people are like, hey, that didn't lead to a very good time. Maybe we should continue this work with the international community. And they just fight it out.
Nostalgia's a hell of a thing.
Just fight it out. Yeah. On top of that, the Warsaw Pact states, rather than just being released, just start revolting.
Does it mean Germany fixes itself? Because at this point, it's been under Soviet control.
They start to fix themselves because during the course of this war, a couple bad things happen. Threats of nuclear weapons employment, massive civil war in the city of Moscow. NATO nations moving in, including a movement from President of the United States of America, Rudy Giuliani.
Like 9/11 Rudy Giuliani?
It doesn't confirm, but it just says a President of the United States, Rudolph Giuliani.
Like Time Mayor of the Year?
Maybe.
America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani?
It doesn't confirm.
4 Seasons, Rudy Giuliani?
But it's a very funny coincidence.
There's so much to say about that. Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
So Rudy Giuliani.
What year is Rudolph president here?
I think he takes office in like 2012. It's either 2012 or 2008.
So either he beats McCain for office, or it's the universe where Obama still beat McCain, and then he beats Obama for office. Wow.
Was Giuliani running as a Democrat or a Republican in the...
I actually don't know what his lead... I know he was Republican recently, but
yeah,
I don't know what
but was he a Democrat back in the day?
I don't know. All I know is those are the two people he'd have to be. Either
or Obama or McCain.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those. Or Romney, yeah.
Or Romney. McCain could still have done the payment.
Because I can't remember if it was 2008 or 2012. And also, like, between the time of...
or Hillary.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 people.
Or Hillary.
Or Hillary, yeah. Because there's a universe where Obama loses to McCain, and then Hillary goes, don't worry, it's my turn.
Yeah.
And then she loses to Rudy Giuliani.
In 2012 instead of 2016.
Yeah.
Huh. Funny. So... Either way, Rudy Giuliani starts...
What a weird time to be casting your ballot.
Right.
Okay.
Obama or Giuliani?
Or I mean, all of them are just
such weird options.
I think Obama, McCain, that one makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I could see... All the other ones just feel like odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is an odd time. Rudy Giuliani stages his intervention and is able to help the people who want to not bring Russia back into communism forward. But with that push forward, the communists decide to screw it, launch the nukes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So they'll launch a bunch of ICBMs for...
If I can't have you, no one can.
Yeah. They continue...
It's toxic, but yeah, that's basically what it is.
They launch a bunch of nukes for East Germany because, they're still separated. A bunch of the Warsaw Pact states and the United States. Mm-hmm. But they're obviously stopped by the massive defense satellites that we didn't stop putting out in space. And it's bad because even after that, nuclear flare-up, the communists still decide...
That's okay.
Yeah. The nuclear flare-up.
Go on.
They still decide to do some war crimes because in retaliation for that, they decide to just immediately chemical bomb the...
okay. So we're violating
the city of Riga.
Of the Geneva Conventions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just all of them.
Okay.
And by that point, it's kind of...
You're clearly the villains. I'm sorry. If you launch nukes, then...
Anybody who is sympathetic for them after or before chemical bombing Riga are not anymore. And they just kind of like fall. They're taken over. It's done. There's no more civil war in Russia. Mm-hmm. And they're now part of the international community, kind of. with this kind of like edging of World War III, because we didn't hard go to war, the U.S. was, the NATO and the U.S. were kind of just like, hey, intervening, either giving some troops weapons, or similar to kind of what we were doing with Ukraine for a little bit in real life. That level of intervention. We realized...
Wait. Which level of intervention? The arming them intervention, or the, wow, a lot of stuff keeps exploding randomly intervention?
Yes.
Okay.
Both.
Okay, cool.
With that edging of World War III, the international community realizes that NATO is not strong enough a power and forms something called the Western Alliance, which is basically the UN but with teeth. And when I say that, I mean we donate troops to the UN in real life, but we donate kind of like the number twos, not the number ones, because every country keeps the number ones for themselves for their own form of defense. The Western Alliance demands you bring the number ones because we will go to war with other people over this.
Oh, so instead of a defensive pact, it's an offensive pact.
Yeah. And it wasn't started by us either. It was started by Great Britain.
Okay, so I guess they never Brexited.
Yeah, they never Brexited. And it completely absorbs NATO. It's just everybody who's in NATO is now in here. Except for the US, who kind of like struggled with the concept of losing a lot of their economic and military power over this.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But like so many other people joined that the US needed to join. Otherwise, they'd be out on a huge... Yeah, they'd be left out in the cold. Some of the Soviet bloc states, the old Warsaw Pact states, are allowed to join in after a 10-year probationary period.
Have we sutured Germany back together yet?
I think this is the point...
Okay.
I think this is about the point where we suture Germany back together.
Okay.
And in celebration of this grand, like, Western Alliance forming... Everybody decides, let's put a man on Mars. Screw it. So it moves the capital from Great Britain to the moon, because Lunar Base in 2015, 16, pretty cool, right? We don't have one of those yet, and it's 2025 in real life.
Well, yeah, but we also stopped spending money on that.
Yeah, which sucks so bad. While all this is happening, two professors of physics and math get together at Stanford to start developing humanity's first production-grade miniaturized fusion reactor. Or no, it's not miniaturized yet.
I could believe putting a man on the moon in 2015 with, concerted international effort.
But in 2018, building a fusion reactor? No. Yeah, because their prototypes are complete by 2018. They're ready to go.
Yeah, that's positive. That's no.
Oddly enough, during this research, they do go above and beyond, and instead of just making these reactors, they discover some weirdness with particle physics, specifically a lot of things critical of Einstein's theories. Like, they are really critical of relativity. So much so that, as you might imagine, all of their papers on it are immediately, like, panned in the public and the scientific community. Yeah, you went up against Einstein. It's Einstein.
And, like, his papers, the thing that really helps them stand out so well is repeatedly there have been multiple instances of
they've just been proven right
of him going, this is my theory, but I can't figure this out fully. This is what I probably think is happening.
And then still figure it out.
And then us in the future go, oh, this is what he was missing.
Yeah.
And everything else holds up.
Like the story of how we discovered that dark matter was a real thing.
At several points.
Because he did his calculations with certain numbers, realized there's an empty variable, tried to take it out, and the math didn't work, and eventually we were able to fill that variable in with dark matter, dude.
And so that's kind of like the thing that really helps. So going against
it's kind of tough.
Rough.
Yeah, so they lose their jobs. One of them takes their wife's name of Kurita out of shame and moves to the lower end of Tokyo, Japan to sell stationery and origami supplies before dying of heart failure. And the other one...
What kind of a stressful life how would you die of heart failure selling stationery?
Dude, you lost your job.
Right, this isn't your career.
You were a Stanford level like researcher and engineer. You made the first fusion reactor on Earth.
Yep.
And you wrote three papers, so badly that you lost all credibility, and now you've resorted to selling origami supplies. In not even the good part of Tokyo, like the sketchy parts.
Okay.
The other dude becomes a cook and dies of food poisoning.
Oh, that's terrible. Must not have been a good cook.
Not at all.
I know they were being mocked ceaselessly.
Oh, absolutely. And to top it all off, their prototype reactor gets handed off through a couple companies and ends up at GM.
Like General Motors?
Regal General Motors, yep, who finished the project in 2020.
Okay.
Yep.
No. I can believe a lot of this, right?
But like GM finishing a nuclear reactor?
I can believe concerted international effort leads to a lot of objects in space and far more advancement in space, right? I can believe the Soviet Union continuing to Soviet it up for a while and requiring full international intervention. I can believe it, right?
Yeah.
So far, a lot of this has made quite a bit of sense. The UN becoming an offensive pact in a universe where all this is happening? Sure.
Yeah.
But
GM. Finishing a fusion reactor.
They figured out how to put an engine in the middle of the car in 2020.
Yeah.
And they finished a nuclear reactor, a fusion reactor.
Yep.
The same GM that couldn't figure out how to put the engine in the middle and a manual after it.
It still doesn't have a manual, by the way.
Okay.
And don't lie to me and tell me that a DCT is a real manual. That's not correct.
Okay. Well, I mean, technically.
No.
A manual, you are manually operating it.
Okay, it's not stick.
There we go.
Which is what everyone really means when they say manual. Over the next 70 years, a little bit more of some political drama starts. China, Hong Kong, and the new unified Korea, because over the last 70 years that happened, get together to try and threaten...
Who won?
I think it was South. I think it was South Korea.
Okay.
That or they just came to an accord. I think it wasn't a war in this in this universe. It was just why are we doing this?
It has very different energy depending on who wins.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. They get together to threaten Japan for wanting to join the Western Alliance, which is not good because, that's another arm that they could join. And the Western Alliance fully extends an olive branch, allowing them to join the Western Alliance while still maintaining a lot of their own internal deals, trade deals, and arrangements without Western Alliance oversight. So they do join. All of them join. They hear this and go, oh, that's actually kind of sick. Maybe we'll just join Japan. What was that?
I said technically Japan's west from somewhere on the planet.
Yeah. The name does change at some point. Yeah. It starts as the Western Alliance. They all join except for Hong Kong. Hong Kong stays out of that. A bunch of stuff gets sent out of space. Many probes, many satellites, a couple expeditions to Mars, because we do get to Mars. A couple colony slow ships are sent out into the Pale to, maybe ping back some successful colonial efforts. The Western Alliance does rebrand as the Terran Alliance in 2086 because
there we go.
Some of those colony slow ships do start pinging back, and they realize, listen, we've got the entire Asiatic continent in this. We have some people out in different planets pinging back. This isn't just the West. This is
it's west from somewhere.
Jesus. And then in 2102, the wackiest thing happens. You remember those two scientists from earlier? Mm-hmm. They are right.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Everything they said about Einstein was correct. He had a couple flaws in his theories, and that leads a door open to teleporting stuff.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, right?
Does GM figure that out too? Does Ford do it?
I don't think GM figures that out.
Okay.
A massive endeavor is started.
Pontiac?
I don't know if Pontiac collapses out of this, so...
There's no 08 from what you described, so...
Maybe.
GM didn't need a
There were several 08s before 08 actually happened, let's be fair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A massive endeavor is started after discovering that we might be able to teleport things to build a ship that might be able to teleport people. The goal is get from Deimos to Tau Ceti. So build a ship, do that. There's kind of a problem, though. They need $1 trillion to build this project, and the Alliance doesn't exactly have a good tax plan in response to this. Their tax plan is instead of
Time out. $1 trillion to start teleporting stuff everywhere?
Yeah.
Isn't Apple's market cap 4.1 trillion?
It's high.
Isn't Tesla 1 trillion? Isn't Nvidia several
I think this lore was written before things like the modern understanding of the economy worked.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
This might have been written before. This might have been
4.29.
written before Reagan removed the gold standard.
I don't think it was Reagan. I think it was Nixon.
Was it Nixon?
I think it was Nixon.
Okay, so
Sorry.
never mind.
Are
you sure?
Well, let me find out.
Hold on, I'll Google that.
Okay. There's a company. Oh, yep.
It was Nixon in 71.
Yep,
so I
there
guess
you
the gold standard had been removed by the time
Saudi
the war was
Arabian
written.
Oil Company, the state oil company for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Almost 6 trillion.
So
you're telling me one
sixth of Saudi Arabia could fund this.
Get to it then.
Yeah, start teleporting stuff, dudes.
Instead of a line, let's get some teleporting going.
Who knows? Maybe they already are. Well, no, they couldn't finish the line, so maybe not.
Well, I mean, it's not for lack of money.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think they have officially called it quits.
They've shortened it several times.
Yeah, but they still haven't called it quits.
They have shortened the project
These
length.
are people who have raised islands in the shape of palm trees.
Fair enough.
Where none were before. I don't think they're going to call it quits until we stop buying oil.
Yeah, that's fair. So their tax plan, instead of taxing 1/6 of the Saudi Arabian GDP, including their actual
GDP market cap,
they decide to tax every nation on a formula directly variable to their population.
Sorry, just again, to be a Saudi sheikh. Can you imagine what the monthly check is like?
Huge.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's not going to be
spending it on frivolous. Sorry, go on.
Ferraris all day.
No.
Porsches.
No.
Yeah.
At some point, at some point, you have to start getting creative. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can't just be cars.
No. Yeah.
Now it's not going to be 100% accurate because then is 2102 and now is 2025. But I'm going to crunch some numbers that I did for you.
A ziggurat. Go on.
Jesus. India and China both host 1.4 billion people. India's GDP is about 4 trillion and China's is about 19 trillion, according to IMF numbers. They're going to be asked for the same amount.
Wait, is this like a per citizen $1, please?
Pretty much. Well, not exactly per citizen $1, but like per citizen such and such dollars.
Based on whose currency? Based on what valuation is each person worth?
I mean, the IMF is able to equivocate everything to US dollars, so I'm sure, like...
Yeah, but that's still really brutal.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like a dollar is a lot in India, for example.
Yeah.
Like not
there's also
relatively
there is also a global currency standard, a global exchange rate that exists now in our modern reality. I'm sure there's one in Battletech that they just use. But I'm using the numbers that I have from like just researching off of the IMF website. But what I'm saying is,
in that conversion, certain countries will feel the tax. Like if I have to pay $100 billion US, that's really brutal, right? And it's gonna suck for me, right?
Yeah.
But convert that into India's currency, that's far more devastating. For them,
I understand that, which is like.
And so, like, is it adjusted for their currency, relative weakness?
No, it's just
or strength.
It's just population. Yeah. So yeah, India and China are going to be asked for the same amount. Venezuela and Australia have about 1 million people difference between them, so they're probably going to be put in the same tax bracket. Australia's GDP is about 1.7 trillion, and Venezuela's is 108 billion.
Even with the oil?
Even with the oil. They crashed that hard. Keep you in mind that right now today, as of the writing of this script, Venezuela's inflation rate is about 172% and has its citizens still so desperate that they're still farming gold and XP in RuneScape because it's more consistent and reliable than traditional employment.
I mean, yeah. What was that percentage?
172%.
At 172% inflation, you leave the house, the prices change.
Yeah, exactly.
I go to Costco, I go next door, I come back to Costco, the prices change.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course I'm doing RuneScape.
I did find a thread with somebody, one of these RuneScape gold farmers, talking about their experience.
Sorry, the logistic. Okay, no, go on.
The average intake is about 10 million gold in about 5 hours of play. 10 million gold a day is about $3 a day, and that is about $90 a month. In comparison, a lucky teacher earns about $40 a month.
That can't be good for the...
No, it's not.
That cannot be societally good.
No, it's not.
Yikes.
I'm not going to cite this person's name because RuneScape players seem to hate these people, even though they're just trying to survive, brother.
I mean, I can see both perspectives because I don't know what that does to the game's economy, but also
it does kind of,
frankly,
it does kind of screw the in-game economy.
Your game
but
economy
only for
screws?
it only does it for specific items.
Like, I don't know. My perspective is your game economy is screwed, and that really blows. They walk outside, it's screwed.
Yeah.
These are very different things.
Listen, wow, my in-game economy is screwed. That person is starving.
Well, sorry. No. Yeah, no, it's just, that's abysmal.
All right, isn't it just?
I don't even know how you fix that.
Decorrupt the government is what I've heard.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good start.
Yeah. I can only say that because I'm not Venezuelan, because if you are Venezuelan, you can't say that.
Why can't you say that? Have you just removed a country from the list of places we could go? I think you've just done that.
Maybe.
Good for you. Nice.
Maybe. This is after more in-canon serious economic problems, quote, serious economic problems, in 2089. So they're already in a bad way. Some countries are getting really shafted for something they're not going to see the economic benefit of.
Yeah, why are you putting a man on Mars? The bread changed 5 times today.
I need to eat. Why are we putting a man on Mars? Why are we taking a man to Tau Ceti? So obviously, chaos ensues. There's some rioting in the streets, but the project does get along. And in 2107, the prototype steel box with no thrusters, no crew, no cargo, basically a Minecraft compass for navigation, and no engine aside from the drive core, gets towed to about 7 AU above the sun. 7 AU is about the distance from the sun to Earth, and that's kind of an astronomical unit.
Yeah.
Charges
I
for
took
10 days.
astronomy.
Well, I don't know who did and who didn't.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. It has to charge for 10 days off of a donor ship because it can't charge itself. And with much anticipation, it jumps from 7 AU from the top of the sun to 7 AU below the sun.
Teleportation.
Quote, a little off target, but intact.
Okay.
After the success of this, the push for the real thing is kind of doubled. Doubling the funding, doubling the research speed, and doubling the chaos. At the beginning of 2108, the first successful jump with a crew executes, and within the year, a full colony ship or research ship is sent out from Sol system Tau Ceti, and then returns to Sol safe, sound, and with the name of the first person to step on a planet outside of Earth, Canadian engineer Michelle Land, which is such a fitting name.
Michelle Land.
Michelle Land.
Doesn't sound Canadian, though.
It doesn't. But it's got land in the name.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. This causes a period of aerospace exploration euphoria, rivaled only by the Cold War victory lap America ran after landing Armstrong and Aldrin on the moon.
So basically, every kid for the next 20 years wants to be the next person to teleport?
Every kid for the next year, because after that...
Oh, only a year?
After that, the funding is tripled.
Oh.
Tripling the ships, tripling the research, tripling the chaos.
Yeah.
Yep. This kicks off an event called the First Exodus as humanity begins their first, I'm going to be honest, real colonial efforts into space. Mm-hmm. Some of those slow ship colonies have not made it to their destination yet.
I mean, they're slow ships.
They're slow ships. They don't jump. We just made jump ships.
I mean, some people were beaten to the place that were supposed to be the first.
There are a couple stories of colonies where like the jump ship gets there first and then the slow ship arrives and was like, I thought this place was supposed to be empty.
Yeah. I'd be a little miffed. I sacrificed everything.
Exactly.
Everyone I know is dead.
I didn't sacrifice anything. This is like 100 years later. My dad, my grandpa sacrificed everything, abandoned everyone they knew to do this. And like...
Oh, these aren't like the cryogenic kind?
No.
These are the
live, die, repeat until you get there ships.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I thought these were like the get in, get frozen, thaw when you get there.
Okay. Nope. As far as I understand, there is no cryo sleep in Battletech, but I could be wrong.
You can't vault places?
No. It's more like... Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna move on. Jump ship procedures are like advanced, and jump ships themselves are advanced to the point where we can attach shuttle and colony craft to them and then jump them places. And from there, it kind of operates like a bus, where you'll attach to the jump ship, get taken to a destination, and then the ships have to fly the last mile to where they need to go. As well as this, it's discovered that we shouldn't have jumped 7 AU from the sun because these things get affected by gravity really, really badly. So they need to jump from to and from very specific points in any solar system. That's about 10 AU usually from the top or the bottom where there's the least gravity effects.
Any
on the
closer
ship.
and like
You start getting
you arrive
weird.
mangled?
There are a couple stories of people not mangled but off target.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A bunch of near to Terra planets are settled, and while some are nice, they like just become democracies like planet New Earth. Some end up exactly how I said, like Muskegon, where a gravitational weird
MUSK?
MUSK EGON.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any relation, but
Okay. Sure.
it gets knocked off course. It's not supposed to go to Muskegon. It just ends up there because jump ship weird. And immediately they realize this planet has no resources and we're running out. The officers declare themselves a monarchy, basically. And that goes on for generations.
I mean, yeah, who's going to check that? Like, what?
It's not like the Terran Alliance is large enough yet to really dig their fingers into any of these
I've
colonial
jumped
efforts.
to the far reaches of space and like, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of keeps going like this for a little bit where like humanity continues to expand, sometimes tripping over its feet sometimes. There are a couple of wars of ideals and territory at home and out on the verge, but like on average, humanity just keeps expanding. We're on this map around this area, to my knowledge. Oh, and Hong Kong gets eaten by China at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. This relative stability lasts for a while. Obviously, poorer nations are still very upset after having been taxed for most of their GDP. And like I said...
I mean, at what point can't they pay? You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, listen, I need to eat, brother. Stop taxing me this much. And that just kind of goes until 2196. Because... as a colony in the Terran Alliance, you kind of had two goals. The first is survive, like do what you can to survive. The second is become a return on investment for Terra. And that's where the problem starts coming in. Because a planet called New Olympia, I think off this direction, has its citizens start resource wars. They landed on a planet that didn't have a lot, and some of the individual colonists they've coagulated into nations who are now warring with each other for food. They haven't before, but the Terran Alliance sends military action to stop this instead of fixing the problem. And it kind of sends a message to everybody like, oh, they don't care about us. They're just there to like tax us and make sure we don't get into scuffles.
It's basically like you call your landlord, oh, the toilet's backed up, and like an armed militia arrives.
Yeah, exactly. And they change out your toilet and say, never break this again.
Yeah, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, and so your neighbor's just like, Jesus, that's what a toilet's all about?
Well, that's okay.
This is really reinforced when they do the exact same thing to the exact same planet for the exact same reasons in 2220.
How many years apart is this from the first time?
3, I think.
Yeah, okay. A second time a toilet goes out in less than 5 years, another military response.
Excuse me, 4. Yeah.
I'm really debating my place in this neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. Over the time that the organization has existed, the Terran Alliance has had one goal: expand and spread human influence across the stars. And though they've made some great strides in like logistics and colonial efforts, getting people out there and helping them to survive, they kind of got distracted by they tunnel visioned into just expansion and didn't think about what they would actually do with the planets when they had them. They completely lost the plot and made it about the space instead of the people, and were starting to do whatever they could to the people to keep the space. And this was very noticed. In 2235, the aptly named Colony of Freedom sends a declaration of independence to the Terran Alliance. Because of the time it takes that message to reach the Terran Alliance, a bunch of other planets around them hear about it first and join in.
Let's get our 1776 on, basically.
Yeah, and 8 months later, with all of that time to prepare, that's when the message hits Terra.
Is it 76?
1776, yeah.
I remember this being like not a trick question.
I think you probably heard Hamilton when they talk about 1777 more, but it's 1776.
Okay, no, yeah.
The Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4th, 1776.
Okay.
I think it was drafted in July 1st.
I think what I'm thinking of is when independence was won.
Yeah.
That's okay. Sorry.
I thought it took longer. No,
No.
it was 1 year.
1776 was when it was won.
Yeah.
It was just.
A bunch more colonies continue to
Sorry,
join.
that's gonna really bother me. I'm so sorry. That's really gonna bother me. 1776 is when these colonies. And then 1781
is when we finally win independence.
Yes.
I was gonna say I thought the war was a lot longer than a year, because it starts as sparks and then only breaks out into full war like a couple years later.
Not declare win. Oh my god. 83 is when the Treaty of Paris ratifies the independence of them.
Yeah.
There we go.
Was that when it ratified? Yeah, that's when that's not when
that's
they
the
won.
international community.
No, that's not when they
recognizes
won the war. That's when the international community recognizes them as an independent
which
state.
is when the war is won.
Yeah. Well,
it ain't over till it's over. That's when the check hit the bank account.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's when it cleared.
Fair enough. In those 8 months, more planets continue to join in with freedom. There's another planet called Denebola. Their declaration of independence hits at around the same time as freedom, and it's kind of debated because of the travel time whether or not they declared war or first or
I think
freedom
gets it by
but
name
freedom
alone.
gets it just because, dude, the name.
Yeah, the name. Come on.
The name.
Good branding.
From this point, the Outer Reaches Rebellion starts. We do a little bit of, like I said, the U.S. War of Independence, where it's kind of just sparks until full war breaks out after a bunch of those sparks. The Alliance cracks down on the sparks, and that is just create more sparks, and then eventually you get fire. It starts with riots on the streets of freedom and an ousting of the colonial governor who caused this with his marriage tax bill, which is exactly what it sounds like.
What is it, like the inheritance tax where X percentage goes to...
Yeah, pretty much. You get married, you pay a dowry to the state.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's bad.
That's pretty bad, right?
So is there a divorce refund?
Probably not.
Okay, cool.
Actually, yeah, I guess the government does refund you if you overpay only if you overpay on taxes.
Yeah, exactly. So at the time,
if you leave the country, they don't refund your taxes.
No, yeah, you don't get all the taxes you've paid back when you leave.
No. So obviously they don't refund when you divorce.
Yeah, that'll miff a lot of people.
Yeah. The Terran Alliance Parliament responds by sending troops to garrison on Freedom, blockade their jump points, and instate martial law on the planet, which that news makes it to everybody around, and suddenly everyone's doubling down and sparking more resistance. After that, full military response is dispatched, with a general and assault force being sent to quell the rebellion, and the Terran Alliance starts demanding that loyal colonies start drafting their forces into reinforcements.
We'll just be faster at that point.
Yeah, because you guys are already there. Just start sending your forces after we send in our main assault force. This is the first time that some of these loyal colonists learn that a rebellion is happening. When suddenly they're being asked to send their teenagers off to war. Mm-hmm. They're like, what? So some of them start going like rebel too, because they're like, no, I'm not doing that. And some of them stay loyal, but refuse to draft their citizens. From this point, it's kind of just like guerrilla war across the entire like a rebelling area of space. The rebels will leave mines at all of the jump points for the Terran Alliance craft.
Jumping into a mine sounds like a war crime.
Yeah, but it's like space,
who puts
and
a
nobody's
mine at a bus stop.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's done this kind of war yet,
okay.
So like nobody knows what's a space war crime or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a Space Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of not good for anybody after this point, because the Alliance just full sends into sieging all of the planets that started the rebellion. There's a couple, but the fighting is the most brutal on Freedom, and specifically the capital city of Freedom, Jefferson City.
Of course.
Yeah. Where we're going to break from the American revolutionary patriotism here and talk about Freedom's president, Tudela DuPont, which...
As, like, the Teflon guys?
The Teflon guys?
Yeah, like DuPont.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
I just figured if that's person in power...
I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Teflon guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean... they're not able to kill him, so I guess they really couldn't stick to him. But he leads his rebellion from the front lines. He stays in the city and leads as like a figurehead rather than a general like 5 miles away. He vows to either defend the city or watch it burn. It's going to be one of those two things. And so for 2 months, the 1,500 rebels within the city hold it down against the 6,000-strong Alliance Marine force outside their door. In the opening moves, DuPont's able to outwit them and outmaneuver them, grabbing a bunch of like mobile siege artillery that they immediately start putting to use on the outside, which really holds the outside invading force down. But it's not all good all the time, because during the day, there's like a battle going on and the siege being held down. But during the night, the Alliance Marines are grabbing every body they can find outside the walls, including the ones of the still living and the citizens outside of the wall at night. And they are airdropping them inside the walls to try and drop morale.
Yeah,
We're doing full authoritarianism here.
Those are just war crimes.
Those are just, yep. After 2 months of holding that city, reinforcements to the Alliance Marines finally arrive and engage in a large orbital bombardment campaign, destroying an entire third of the city, including the wall where the invading forces are trying to siege into, after which the ground forces take the opportunity to move in, taking colonists and rebels. Only 70 people survive this siege, citizens and rebels alike, including DuPont, who watches from the hills as he escapes his burning city.
Oh, he watched it burn.
Despite winning the siege of Jefferson City and now occupying freedom, the Terran Alliance lost a whole third of their forces and didn't have anything to show for it. They only have 2/3 of a still burning city, with more fighting forecasted, because now DuPont and a bunch of other forces are continuing to engage in guerrilla war. They struggle to hold a lot of the wars that they are able to occupy, and just kind of have a hard time grabbing any more of the rebelling colonies. As well as that, the loyal colonies nearby still would not send in their citizens for draft.
Yeah.
So they're just running. The gas tank's just completely out. Pirates are just sieging all of their jump ships for supplies. They're still mining jump points. It's not a good time. Completely unrelated, neutral party interstellar water merchant David Ryan asks very nicely if he can deal delicious ice blocks in the area, and no one considers to ask where the rebels keep getting these guns from, and why exactly they know the exact time and place where leaders of the Marines sleep, and why rebels suddenly have become coordinating across planetary divides, and where all is this funding coming from for the political party at home whose top campaign issue is leaving the colonists alone.
Yep.
Completely unrelated. Completely unrelated.
By the way, imagine cornering the water market. Like, you think oil money is a lot.
Yeah. It's more of a beneficial...
No, but like it's just like they need this resource and I can deliver it. Like, but you don't have to corner the market per se. You're just raking it in.
It's less that, and it's more like, they're raking it in, but they charge cheap rates. Because most of the colonies don't have good water purification, and so they're thirsty. And so what Ryan will do is he will carve ice blocks off of nearby asteroids and either jump them to systems that need water or just drag them to systems that need water and melt them down for the colonists.
How big are we talking here?
Like celestial, he's carving ice blocks out of celestial bodies.
Like he's filling lakes temporarily, right?
Yeah.
Like the Iceman cometh, dig a pit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not like tiny, like, oh, here's a bottle. It's here's a lake, a great lake even.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's celestial bodies.
Celestial bodies. Things that need to be jumped.
I like that, actually. Because didn't Earth get most of its water from continuous asteroid bombardment?
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, it tracks.
So it does track.
At minimum, it gave us our moon.
It did. This combination of lack of supply and tanking of morale pulled even the most apolitical on Terra to the streets to say, come back, this war is not winnable, and neither is it right.
They got a water merchant. Back up.
Yeah. And after overextending, frankly, to 50 colonial worlds, they finally pull back. Funnily enough, no peace agreement or ceasefire is signed for the end of this war. It just kind of fizzles out when that anti-colonial party takes power, and
I'm surprised they didn't ratify anything.
No, they didn't. They just didn't continue. It was like the Emu War in that way, where you didn't declare the end of the war, it just ended.
It's still going? Technically, legally?
No, it just stopped.
They didn't sign a peace accords with the emus?
No, and they didn't sign a ceasefire. It just stopped.
Man, I can't wait for the next Prime Minister of Australia to take a piece of paper to an emu to,
sign.
I mean, really, it's just like a footprint's all you need, and boom, done. Emu war's
stick
closed.
the emu's foot on a stamp and then onto the Declaration of Peace.
And try not to get murdered in the process.
Yeah. Well, I don't think emus are vicious. Are they vicious?
Yes.
Well, yeah, they were able to take a bunch of machine gun shots and still wouldn't go down in the Great Emu War.
Some of the animals I would not want to be.
Yep, never mind. That makes sense. As they pull back, several more colonies declare their independence, and by around 2242, the Terran Alliance finally decides they're just going to wash their hands of this issue and sign something called the Demarcation Declaration, which retracts their sphere of influence to just one jump point around Terra, which is about 30 light years.
Okay, that's...
And not a lot of planets. Anything outside this line is independent, whether they want to be or not.
Oh.
Yes.
They just wash their hands of everything.
They just wash their hands of everything. We can only control this. We're only going to control this.
Figure it out.
You
wanted to be independent so bad? Go ahead.
Just go for it. And this is kind of the basis for a lot of the factions we see in modern Battletech. A lot of the independent colonies start coagulating into these larger nations and larger organizations. Purple guys over there, the Free Worlds League, they get together at around this time. At home, though, the Terran Alliance just starts spiraling in every respect, politically, economically, militarily. Their top general just kind of starts acting without a leash anymore. No one's telling him what to do, but he's doing things anyway. He pretty much directs all funding he can into the Navy, authorizes the development and construction of these things called warships, which are special because they are the only militarized jump ships in Battletech. Normal ships of battle in Battletech need to be jumped places. They don't have a jump drive.
They gotta get on the bus.
Yeah. The warships don't need a bus. They just go.
So basically, this guy's constructing carriers.
This guy's constructing
with no
carriers.
oversight.
With no oversight. He's just
I want
doing
another.
And another. By 2314, we have an inflection point. There's a politician who starts a new political party at home, but it's kind of just a ruse. He's out to make money, and he's offering his loyalty to both of the two dominant political parties for how much money they can give him, and he keeps just flip-flopping depending on which offer he gets the most of, until somehow someone, finds him dead in his apartment in New Zealand. Which causes everyone to go haywire. And now we have yet another civil war at home. Until that top general decides this cannot go, and uses one of those warships from earlier to blow up two planets just off the coast of, two islands just off the coast of Scotland and Australia, respectively.
Why?
Show of force.
Okay.
An entire island in one go.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
They're just gone. Immediately, he after doing this, broadcasts a message to the entirety of Earth, alien invader style, just hey, I did that. I only did it because those two idiots over there won't stop punching each other over how much money they can make off of you. If you want this to stop, things need to change. I will make them change. Just show your support and stay inside after dark.
Oh.
People run to the streets to support him. They're tired of this weird political game and demagoguery that they've been exposed to for the past, at this point, 300 years? And he just gets down to business at this point. His first order of business is starting a massive manhunt to get everybody from the last two political parties. And
lovely. Whenever you see that, that's a good sign.
That's a great sign, right? He either executes or jails them, and then takes over the government, starting the Terran hegemony this time.
Oh, God.
Yep. His second order of business was writing laws for his new government, laws such as all political parties are banned forever, and the Director General is a lifelong position. And his third order of business was getting elected to the Director General of the new Terran hegemony. And thus the wheel of samsara turns. After getting all of this political power, military power, and monetary power all of a sudden, the general thinks, well, we've tried this a couple times before, but surely I can make it work, and starts his campaigns of persuasion on some of the periphery colonies. From 2317 to the 2330s, he spends all of his time and his military resources
Jumping ships places
and trying to reconquer some of the colonies that were, given their own independence, except for the Free Worlds League, who signed a treaty to keep the sovereignty. In response to this, the colonies immediately solidify into these groups here. Like, everyone you see here started during these colonies of persuasion. These guys were 3 merchant nations before. This guy was an independent something. I don't remember what the Federated Sons were doing. And the Capellan Confederation was shattering every half second, but got together just to resist this.
Okay.
With a lot of this resistance starting to coagulate around him, the general kind of stops around the 2030s. Like, he can't go any farther than maybe a jump point or two around Terra. And it's getting to the point where one slip up could doom the entire operation. His son has already doomed the entire operation.
Wow. The slip up was pointed at your
kid. The slip up was appointed to your kid. After being assigned an entire planet to invade, his son Conrad walks into the most obvious ambush you could have set up, and then in the ultimate display of Nepo babyism, fully court-marches the other general in charge of this operation. The guy just below him. His dad does see this and just immediately can him from the job. But the backlash from that defeat and a couple other defeats before this lead him to resign his post, and then 10 days later he dies.
Okay.
So the universe just didn't like this man. After he does leave the position, 2 years of much deliberation take place on who to take up the mantle of Director General, and the hegemony elects his nephew, Michael Cameron.
Oh, like the Camerons.
Cameron was a quiet type. He wasn't a warmonger. He wasn't really a politician. He was kind of just a scientist, dude. He had a very creative mindset, a very exploratory mindset, and he didn't like being in the public eye like being a politician would make you all of the time. And so it was kind of a struggle for him to actually become the Director General, but he does clutch it up in the end. He does some very important things, 3, I'd say, very important things during his time. Firstly, he centralizes all of the hegemony's scientific development under one organization, and it leads to breakthroughs such as reactor miniaturization and myomer fiber bundles, artificial muscle fibers, which is important because it leads to the development of these guys.
Okay.
Directly. He also he invents a slew of disease cures for various colonial diseases. You go out into a random planet, you discover I can get sick from this, and he actively puts a lot of effort into, just out of a maneuver of goodwill, to start curing a bunch of those diseases. Secondly, he flips the table on the structure of nobility in the hegemony to focus on individuals rather than families and powerful politicians of before. And when I say individuals, I do mean it's just for you. Your family doesn't get it. Your living family at that point doesn't get it. All of your land, your title as a noble, it just goes to you. And it kind of breaks down because he doesn't specify not your kids either. So you eventually just get new noble families out of this. And thirdly, he let his 2 daughters keep his family name when they married, seemingly just to keep the name alive. But this does have the unintended consequence of just recreating the old nobility fully when, through some good deeds and, let's be honest, a good part name recognition, he resigns from his position a couple years later to retire quietly with his wife, and within an hour, his daughter is elected to the position of Director General.
Yeah, tracks.
So people just liked the name recognition of the Cameron family so much that just elect his daughter. As a 0.5, I'm also going to say that he peacefully recognized the blue section of space as an independent a nation during his reign, rather than just, declaring them enemy. So this is kind of like, it wasn't the EU at the time, but it's kind of like the Treaty of Versailles, where he peacefully recognizes the Lyran Commonwealth as their own nation.
Okay.
The Cameron family does do a couple things for hegemony from this point, aside from just persisting. They decree that all technological advances that they develop stay in the Terran hegemony. They cannot leave to the outside periphery states. They build massive defensive forts called Castles Brian around their territory.
Lame name for a castle. Sorry if you're Brian.
Well, because the person who invented them was Brian Cameron, and instead of having one castle Brian, because usually the castle is named after the person who owns it, he had several castles Brian.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay. You said the technology stays inside, but I'm seeing mechs everywhere.
That's a good observation. You have many good eyes. We'll get to that in a moment. And they also write up a legal bill that makes it so the Camerons are the only people who can get elected to Director General. So fully, we just kind of have noble families at this point. From this point on, it's kind of just border wars for a little bit. Each of the independent nations continue to expand and coagulate into unions.
The best kind of wars.
Yeah.
With your neighbors.
With your neighbors. The ones that you fight over territory to grab more of it.
Moving your fence line about an inch every year.
Yeah, pretty much. It's mostly moving this direction, but there's some wobblies between the borders of them. And that kind of goes until...
Insane, brother, that you can just do that to someone.
What?
Move property lines
over
time.
Yeah.
Very carefully if they don't notice.
Yeah, if you just scoot your fence an inch to the left and they just don't notice it, eventually you can just file with the city to move the parcel.
Yeah, I mean, dispute it.
Yeah, but you haven't been using it.
Clearly, because my fence has been there for 3 years.
Yeah, and you never noticed it. This is when, in 2439, the first battle mech makes a splash on the scene. The 100-ton MSK-6S Mackie hits the ground with its first combat deployment. It's been being developed for two decades, and it nearly bankrupted the Terran hegemony and its mass manufacturing. And it was an absolute surprise to the battlefield. Nobody saw this coming. Not as much of a surprise, though, as when years later, the Lyran Commonwealth already started fielding it because they stole it.
They pilfered it?
They pilfered it. They pilfered it.
First go on.
The Free Worlds League also pilfered some of those documents, too, so they were second in line to get that. Yeah. But from that point, it's just it's all about the mechs. It's about the mechs, baby. It's all about the mechs. It's not nuclear proliferation. It's mech proliferation.
Yeah.
We get more newer and advanced mechs.
I'd argue nukes would be stronger.
Well, we still have nukes around.
Yeah, but I'm just
mechs are developing as fast as nukes were in the 50s.
The greatest problem with mechs I always have is it's not the best solution for almost...
Well, yeah, that's why Battletech is a game of combined arms. The mechs are deployed in very specific assault or cavalry situations.
Oh, okay, so it's not like the super weapon that defines the era. It's a new arm.
It is a new and very...
That's what jets are to us today.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, because we still field jets in the period of time Battletech takes place in. You can use jets on the tabletop. You can use helicopters on the tabletop. You can use tanks on the tabletop. They still exist. It's just this is another tool in the arsenal, and it happens to be a very strong one at that.
It makes for great box art.
And it does make for great box art. It just kind of skyrockets from there. Everybody gets their hands on mechs, and it just keeps going. It really just keeps going. It skyrockets so much that the hegemony thinks to themselves, oh my god, we cannot keep doing this or we're going to mech ourselves to extinction. And in 2556, after a pretty significant bout of chaos in the inner sphere, the Terran hegemony, the Capellan Confederation, and the Free Worlds League sign a treaty with the Lyran Commonwealth, Federated Suns, and Draconis Combine following suit in the following
You're gonna
decade.
need to give me the colors here. So all of them?
So these got... Wait,
Purple?
hold on.
I know purple.
Purple, green, and middle start signing it first, and then blue, yellow, and red follow up after those three started. They sign a treaty to form a new, bigger space UN called the Star League in 2571.
That's a good name.
Right? Isn't it just? So we have like a new era of peace, and we have the first playable era of the game. And this is when the map really, really solidifies. This is a map from that year.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see there's not... like
that reeks of the 2000s or late 90s.
Doesn't it just? I think this is 2005.
Okay, cool. There's just the font. There's something about the font, the way it's put together.
Right.
It reeks of that era. I could be wrong.
You'll also notice that in this map, the Capellan Confederation, green, is a lot bigger than it is on the map in front of you. The map in front of you is from 3025. This is 2570.
We should get a projector.
We should get a projector.
We need to get a really noisy projector that makes the projector...
The click, yeah.
The click noise.
Well, I do still have that.
Don't do that.
I do still have that Super 8 projector. Maybe I could like go frame by frame if I grab like a trigger for it.
No.
Fine.
First episode shot on IMAX.
Sure. With peace and prosperity for broader humanity, the Star League immediately forms the Star League Defense Force, or the SLDF, and sends it to go defend some other people's territory. Yeah.
Aggressive defense.
Yep. Pacifying and or forcefully inducting periphery nations. The guys on the edge that you can see that aren't the one of the big 5 bright colors on the map.
I was so concerned about you getting robbed, neighbor, so I just had to break in myself.
I just had to break in and defend your territory from other people, right?
And place armed mercenaries at every exit and entry point.
Yeah, and to
defend you.
As you might imagine, these guys are very, very pleased with this. And this has no lasting consequences. Especially amongst the people of the Rimworld Republic. This is totally not me subtle foreskinning this to remember it.
Okay, sure.
After this, though, they did achieve their goal of peace. Like, everybody has a seat at the table. We can peacefully resolve conflicts. If you don't want to peacefully resolve conflicts, you can have your own tiny little spark of infighting. It's feudal.
That's so much better than I was expecting. You don't want to resolve it? Get mech'd.
Yeah. No, they just mech each other.
Okay.
Yeah. If they, it really is just feudal at this point. It's like Interstellar's feudal, where if you want to have a war, you have a tiny little battle over one planet. If you get too big, the Star League will come in with the SLDF and resolve it themselves, and it will be amicable to neither of you. Similar to like the baby split in half situation. I can't remember. No, the one story of that king who's just like, okay, both of you want custody.
Solomon.
King Solomon. Thank you.
King Solomon.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the story.
Quickest way to solve that problem.
I just remember baby split in half. That's all I remember.
Like these two women show up and they're both claiming the kid is theirs, and how the hell do you tell? Because it's a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Sans obvious differences, it looks like both of them.
So you both want it. You can both have it.
We can split it right in half because I can't decide. And
yeah.
the mom obviously went, nope, it's her kid. I'm sorry.
That's the kind of diplomacy that the SLDF will get up to, along with defending other people's territory. Yeah, they just kind of still do that. Resources are also shared in a similar way to like the modern day UN, where member states, the surrounding like brightly colored 5 states, have a mandatory like basically an imperial tithe to the SLDF. So
That's not how the UN works at all.
Yeah, but the UN, I mean, yeah, it's not a mandatory like imperial tithe,
it's
but
like
everybody
a flat rate on everyone that must pay.
Everybody does give troops and resources to the UN for mutual use. But the SLDF kind of operates the same way. It's just mandatory. You know what I mean? Scientific revelations are made left and right during this period of time. Advancements in water purification put our water dealer friend from earlier out of a job.
No.
Yeah, it's okay. He'll come back later.
Okay.
The invention of the hyperpulse generator also comes around this time.
See, my mind has always painted him as the image of like a Saudi sheikh, but with water.
Yeah.
And I'm just realizing it'd probably be a wetsuit instead of like the flowing, like
that's
desert
so
robes,
good.
right?
That's not what he looks like, but it is now.
Okay, cool.
In my head, it is now what he looks like.
Thank you.
So other than the water, we do get the HPG or the hyperpulse generator. Before this, communication in the inner sphere is very slow. Like you need to transport a message across jump ships physically on you, like a mail carrier.
We're doing the why am I blanking on its name? That thing where they basically almost run a horse to death to a certain point.
The Pony Express.
Thank you.
We're doing
Express.
Yeah, we're doing the
Yes.
Pony Express across the galaxy. As you might imagine, that's slow as hell.
Well, yeah. Pony Express was. I mean, it was the
It
quickest
was the
way,
fastest way you could do it. It
but-
still took days to months.
and it was really hard. I can't imagine what they were walking like after that.
Yeah.
Because it's a horse at full tilt
For-
as long as it'll go.
Yeah,
safely,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I promise you, they've developed.
Me running my Toyota Corolla with no oil for 6 days straight to get across the states.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how the inner sphere operated beforehand. This is like the invention of the telegram.
Oh,
suddenly.
that's huge.
Yeah, where you still need somebody to take the message from like the telegram station to wherever it needs to go, but like it didn't need to go by person the whole way there. It went by wire. The HPG just boom, a message across space to like a mail carrier, and then a telegram operator or an HPG operator takes that message from that to the, like last mile transports it to wherever it needs to go.
And that's a real thing. You can like a real bit of sci-fi that is always kind of overlooked, in my opinion, where it is
You have such
the
a
distance
broad
of communication.
Yeah.
There's going to be some.
communication in Battletech is a significant
Yeah,
contributor
and it
to
would be.
why it is the way it is.
I mean, like even today, I think I've seen like Linus ping the ISS.
It's actually like if you have a ham radio license, like you can just ping the ISS for data. It's public record. You can download it.
Yeah, it's super cool, but you will see there's a delay. you
Yeah.
know, and that's just like you can
If I remember,
see it.
it's like a minute or two.
It's not too terrible.
It also depends on how your antenna is set up and how powerful your
Yeah.
antenna is, because
It's not-
that's also regulatory at that
also,
point.
do it while you can, because it's not going to be up there much longer.
Yeah.
No, but it's not too terribly long, if I remember correctly. But that's now just extrapolate that. That's an object you can see orbiting
Yeah.
very close to you on a cosmic level, and imagine the scale of this map. Where
Yeah.
is it most of the Milky Way I'm looking at here?
It's not. It's actually not. It's
Oh,
like
is it?
So if you'll notice, you won't notice because my laptop is covering it. That's the distance
Oh, okay.
of 150 light years, about that. So boop, boop, that's a lot.
It's still a lot of distance.
Yeah.
So there would be an incredible amount of lag.
Especially because, like, before you would have to take messages across jump ships with a person carrying it, and they can only go 30 light years. These HPGs can go 50. So you lengthen the
Even faster.
Yeah, even faster. Before, it would take a message like a couple years to get from like top to bottom of the inner sphere. It takes months now. To a year at max, but that's usually, it depends on like how many messages
I'm
are
loving
being
the fact
sent.
that this is even brought up.
Yeah, it's
Everybody else ignores this.
no, it is so significant to Battletech.
Yeah.
Like literally remember the telegrams exist.
Yeah.
Another important thing, the telegram stations are kind of set on different planets, and you need to have them to transport messages because they transport to each other. You can't just like boom, a message out into middle of space and someone picks it up. But yeah, this just revolutionizes the interstellar
Interstellar communication.
Exactly. It also brought just about as much chaos as like some
How?
interstellar it's the internet, dude.
Oh, because now you can issue commands a lot easier over long distances.
Yeah, exactly. The so-called good years of the Star League slowly fizzle out as member states get back to feuding, and periphery states that were conquered, but not fully conquered, like still left to their own devices, start like plotting, you know? The Cameron line continues to rule the Star League until a minor upset in the succession. In 2751, as an outreach program, Simon Cameron begins touring the Star League's member nations. So he just goes around. Like
he gets Ferdinanded.
Well, don't spoil the story.
He gets Ferdinanded.
Yeah. The problem is, you see, his dad duct-taped capital weapons to AI and tossed them around the borders of the Star League out of a defense that the periphery nations would begin invading. And this was not only a bad look, but it also just friendly fired several times.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So Simon was a nice dude and wanted to go out of his way to shake any hand and kiss any baby of the member states, not just for the photos and the political rapport it gets you.
They no longer do that.
Yeah, nobody kisses babies anymore.
The baby kissing died in like...
It died in like the 60s or 70s.
Nah.
No, because
there's still shots
JFK was still doing it.
No, but there's still shots of like, hold my baby, to like Obama and Mitt Romney.
Oh, yeah.
It really died about 2016 when campaigning moved to the internet.
I think the last baby kisser I saw was Biden, and not in this running. It was... during his VP campaign with Obama in 2008.
Shameless pandering, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
But it's an art form that's died, apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, he was going out of his way to do that, not for the image, but because he genuinely cared about like not only the great houses, but the periphery states, and he wanted to improve their lives. Ignore the fact that he didn't unstrap the AI from guns.
Yeah.
He left it. So while touring, he made an unexpected stop in a random mining system on a nothing asteroid. He chatted with the miners for a little bit and saw a remote-controlled mining robot and thought, damn, it'd be sick if I could pilot that. Cut to freak accident.
He didn't get Ferdinanded, but... Okay.
Well, he kind of got Ferdinanded. There's now a power vacuum. But wait, there's an heir to the Star League, right? There always is. Yes. He's 7.
That's bad. I'm just remembering the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. If I remember correctly, didn't it fail at several points and then he opted to stop somewhere for lunch?
Exactly. Yeah. No.
And his assailant happened to be nearby and went,
whoa, I can finish my mission. That's exactly how it happened. He tossed a grenade into, like, I think it was like a talk or a public speaking event that Ferdinand was at.
Yeah.
And it didn't work because his security saw the grenade and tossed it, like was able to get him out of there. But his would-be assassin wasn't caught. And so his would-be assassin was drunk, wandering through the streets, upset that he couldn't finish his mission. When he saw Ferdinand at a cafe getting coffee and like took a pot shot with his pistol at him and got him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of in the same vein of, well, all it's missing is the actual assassin.
Listen, it's a freak accident,
okay.
But is it really a freak accident?
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing what's
Spoiler
happening
alert,
here.
it's not.
It's not a freak
It's
accident.
not a freak accident. So yeah, his one heir is 7 years old, and in classic imperial line of succession history, this goes about as well as you expect. The general of the SLDF, Alexander Kerensky, that name is important, is appointed as regent and protector of the young First Lord Richard Cameron until he comes of age.
He's never going to come to age.
Well, you know, have some faith. Around the same time, a nice guy named Stefan Amaris becomes president of the Rimworld Republic and makes his way to meet the new First Lord, and they make for wonderful friends. On the birthday of Stefan, an 11-year-old Richard, who wasn't one to sit in on Star League Council meetings, he was a child after all, marched proudly into the council hall, plopped himself into the oversized throne in ill-fitting costume finery and a sword at his side, and declared that Stefan was to become a knight of the SLDF, and all of their troops should withdraw from the Rimworld's Republic.
Oh, and the kid is actually powerful enough to do that.
Well, no, the council doesn't realize what's going on and goes... You're just a kid. And they do it.
Okay.
They go through with it and they completely pull out of the Rimworld Republics and make him a knight.
Okay.
So, yeah, they grant the motion, and obviously Kerensky's really upset and tries to convince the young Lord Cameron to rethink, but fails and kind of damages his relationship with Kerensky.
Kids are difficult.
Yeah, kids are difficult.
Especially powerful kids.
He couldn't do anything but what he could do, which was just try and become closer with Cameron to make sure he doesn't screw up. But
I mean, ultimately, this is the great issue of parenting, where you have to arm your child as well as you can with as much information as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And eventually, I mean, like, ultimately, the final decisions are theirs, you know? Now, normally, those decisions are over their lives, not over the lives of trillions.
Yeah, trillions inside of a very large expanse of human-controlled space.
If you do a good job, it's going to be magnified 10 times. But if you do even just an okay job...
Yeah, it might... Or if somebody seems to...
Starts poisoning the well.
Appears to be doing a better job, he can poison the well in whatever way he wants to. So Kerensky has no choice. He actually does retreat from the Rimworld Republics, and he tries to get as much of the classified intel that the SLDF has out of there along with him, but obviously fails. And so, like, the Rimworld Republics now just have whatever they left there, including the location of a Castle Bryan and a couple SLDF mechs.
Okay, that's not good.
That's not good. Along this period of time, the Capellan Confederation and the Federated Sons, green and yellow, start nuking each other and only stop when in 2762, Richard Cameron does actually come of age, and under the advisement of Amaris, and without the advisement of Kerensky, who is currently deployed to try and stop them from nuking each other, institutes Executive Order 156, his first act as First Lord. It commanded every Great House, every Merc Group, and every Periphery Nation to immediately disband all military forces as, quote, all weapons larger than a laser rifle or more destructive than a grenade were now illegal. Which, as you might imagine, doesn't make anybody happy.
And nobody's going to follow that.
Nobody's going to follow that. They immediately start going, instead of going at each other's throats, they start going through the Star League's throat, because they're like, the audacity of you to tell us to get rid of all of our military. You can't do that. So an emergency meeting is called, obviously, and the Great Houses immediately start flinging all of this rage directly at Cameron. And Kerensky pulls himself back just to try and advise. And in a maneuver that kind of seals the deal on the direction this is going to go, Kerensky publicly, like, disavows Cameron. Yeah, he tells him, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. And eventually convinces Cameron to pull that executive order back, but, like, he's not happy about it. He's really, really not happy about it. And he retreats deeper into the arms of Amaris. Between this and another perceived illegal tax bill on the periphery nations, planets from this area of space start seceding from the Star League, and the SLDF is forced to deploy there to quell some of that unrest. And while they're there, Amaris conveniently offers to Cameron, hey, while the SLDF is off doing that, why don't you take my forces to defend Terra?
Okay.
And in secret, Cameron obviously agrees.
Yep.
And so Rimworld Republic's Marines and mechs start barricading themselves into Terra. There's no other word for that. Yeah. This is not good, but nobody knows because it's a completely secret deal. And on December 27th at 9 o'clock in the morning, Stefan Amaris arrives to a private meeting with Richard Cameron, unencumbered by palace security and flanked by 4 bodyguards. He greets the eager First Lord and hands him a gift. It's through several boxes, layered boxes, a jewel-encrusted laser pistol engraved with the Amaris family crest. Stefan takes a hold of the weapon and raises it to the light to show Cameron how some of the jewels dance in the light, and then in another motion points it directly at the First Lord's head and pulls the trigger. Yep. Goes exactly how you might expect. Immediately after executing Amaris uses the control panel that Cameron had proudly showed him how to use for the palace security to take out all the guards. And his bodyguards move in and just take the place over. He brings all 79 remaining members of the Cameron's family to the throne room and issues an ultimatum. Swear fealty or die. One by one, each family member is brought to kneel before the throne. The first 20 refuse and were sent back to the rest of the group. But the 21st swears allegiance, and he gets shot for it. And realizing that there's literally no way out of this, the entirety of the rest of the 78 members of the Cameron family rush the throne to try and like get him off before this coup fully takes effect. None of them make it. His bodyguards just cut them all down. And this starts the Amaris Civil War. He's now on the seat of the throne. Nobody's disputing that. He is the first lord by this point. And so what remains of what is on Earth ends the very, very entrenched, like, RimWorld Republic's forces defend Terra for 13 long years. And that's with the effort of Kerensky and most of the SLDF forces coming back to, like, stop this, which they do eventually come back and get him. And Kerensky actually holds, like, a fair trial for Amaris. As fair as you can get, because, like...
You did it?
Like, we have all the evidence. The trial's, like, 10 minutes long of just, like, listen, innocent until proven guilty, but there's a camera right there showing that you shot him in the head. So, immediately after this... it's not a sham trial. It's a real trial. It's just, like, you did it. Takes course. A firing squad. Yep. And now a real power vacuum exists, because there's no one on the throne. There is no Cameron at the head of the family line to take the throne. Kerensky refuses to take the throne. And all of the great houses now think, well, it's time. This is where things get really, really, really bad. The hegemony completely disbands because there's no one to rule it at this point, other than maybe one of the 5 great houses who are now actively going, hey, maybe it could be me. Maybe it could be me. Things start moving on Terra immediately. The key technical officer to the SLDF's siege of Terra, Jerome Blake, who I swear looks just like the angry video game nerd.
Okay.
Like, there's a portrait of him on the wiki, and it looks just like him. I will show you after this. He's appointed to the position of Minister of Communications and is charged with rebuilding the planet's destroyed infrastructure and the at current damaged HPG network, and then is told by Kerensky in secret that I have a plan. Seeing the way the wind was blowing on the Star League, Kerensky knew that the great houses were all just about to go to war with each other to take succession of the throne of the SLDF. And he realizes that none of you are going to be good stewards of this. I cannot leave the advanced technology and military might of the SLDF here for any of you to control. And so he confides in Blake that I'm going to leave. I'm going to take 80% of my forces, and we're going to leave the inner sphere, tell no one, and just figure it out. There'll be a couple things here for you. I will leave you 10% of my forces to defend Terra how you see fit, but we're gone. And so he just leaves. Like, he sends out a message over the HPG network. It's a single word message that just says Exodus. And everyone who gets the message leaves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At that point, the throne is empty. The Terran hegemony is in shambles. The great houses are all preparing for a war of succession. And now Jerome Blake is alone on Terra with nothing but the central HPG node and some leftover SLDF forces. And with his lemons, he makes some pretty strong lemonade. He takes the helm and renames the HPG Communications Organization Comstar. He travels to the capitals of each of the great houses to ensure... He's making a deal with all of them, asking them to ensure the safety and the neutrality of each HPG node. And he cleverly lies to each great house, telling each and every single one, the others have already agreed. And because they don't have HPG networks anymore, they can't fact check this. So they all sign thinking everybody else already signed.
Making it happen.
This kind of continues. Blake continues to do this. He's a very clever dude. He returns to Terra after this, dealing to find it's already at war. Like, there's a lot of infighting already happened. And under the cover of technical difficulties, shuts down the entire HPG network so he can secretly just take over Terra. Nobody who's infighting on Terra can send out any messages, and nobody outside knew that a war even happened on Terra.
Yep, kept it stumm.
Yep, he just says technical issues. Sorry, the entire network's down. Takes over Terra, fires the HPG network back up. Nothing happened. And now Comstar is the only force on Terra. He immediately gets to work founding the counterintelligence and security branch of Comstar, and leaves the organization with a secret society tasked with collecting and protecting as much information and technological research as possible before just dying and leaving them like a guidebook on how to do this. And that leaves us today with the totally neutral and friendly broadband company on Terra and 5 successor states foaming at the mouth to take over the ruined Star League, doing several wars with each other about it.
Which is how we get the current map.
Where there's just Terra, which is neutral at the center, and 5 guys. So what do you think?
I dig it. I actually dig it.
Yeah?
I might get into Battletech.
You might get into Battletech. It's a lot cheaper than Warhammer, I'll tell you that.
Tempting.
Yeah. Instead of having to pay $1,000 for a full army, you can pay $40 for a force pack box, and there you have you have a lance.
I don't think they're too bad. You only need 3 of them, Johns.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Like guardsmen, yeah, okay, you're screwed, but no, I quite like it. I like how much they fleshed it out. I like.
It's really rooted in the real. It's really, really rooted in the real. It's a different
vein, but I like it.
The other thing is I really like Comstar. Because they're so sketchy, dude. They just pitch themselves as the broadband company. I was not lying. To every great house, every periphery nation, they're just known as the guys who send messages everywhere. Yeah. What nobody knows is they have direct access to every HPG node's black box and can read who sent any transmission where. And if something goes against what they want for a specific great house, they'll just not send that message. Whoops. It just disappeared. Or they'll send fake messages to brew sparks of war somewhere.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They're so sketchy. I love it. Yeah. Not only that, they you can see it in their art, and you can see it in some of their lore. They're described as an autocracy with, quote, mystical trappings. They dress up as wizards.
I see.
And they're
my Comcast internet wizard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so silly.
Instead of a guy showing up with a truck and doing a couple of things, the man in a robe arrives, goes hum.
They are actually the Shadow Wizard money gang. I am not lying to you. This is how they're depicted in their art.
Oh, yep.
I love them so much. They're so sketchy.
They just look like 80, the wizard pondering his orb, they just look like that.
They just look like that. As for the other 5, they kind of just boil down to a couple things, Imperial Japan, the EU, they just function kind of not the EU, but old Europe, you know what I mean? Feudal, weird, a lot of knighthood, a lot of weird. People jump between calling the Capellan Confederation either North Korea or Maoist China, because they're really...
Those feel like very different things.
Really, really authoritarian. You have no power. All of your resources go to the state.
Okay.
They actually have a program of service guarantees citizenship.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, they are that. The Free Worlds League gets called America all the time. Not really. It's more like America circa the 18th century, where it's a bunch of...
Also, I wouldn't judge service guarantee citizenship too harsh. One of the fastest ways to U.S. citizenship is through joining the military.
No, but like you don't get citizenship unless you serve.
Oh, that's so much worse. Never mind. Get judgy.
Yeah. It's more like Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah. I forget you. Are you not a citizen in Starship Troopers?
No, not unless you serve in the military. You have to go kill the bugs. Otherwise, you are like a second-class citizen.
I misremembered that.
Yeah, so that's how you live in the Capellan Confederation.
You're totally right.
The Free Worlds League, like I said, it's kind of like 18th century America, where it's a bunch of kind of loosely related states with a federal government that only kicks in when they start like feuding. Because it's only like as of recently that the states cooperate in the U.S.
Recently.
Yeah. But because of that, the Free Worlds League will have random moments of like... It's kind of like, you know that meme of like everybody in a crowd talking and then somebody has an opinion, then he gets a big thumb and then they go back to what they're doing. This is the military version of that, where instead of having a conversation, the Free Worlds League's planets are all fighting with each other until something bigger comes to get them, then they lock in and shoot them and then get back to fighting.
Okay.
So they're not exactly cohesive.
Yeah. Well, I mean... A lot of the U.S. isn't exactly cohesive.
Exactly.
So I can see
I guess they are the U.S.
Like, don't get me wrong, to the outside, it looks like, oh my God, it's one united nation.
But there's a lot of...
Go talk to someone from Alaska, go talk to somebody from California, somebody from Florida, and somebody from New York. It's a completely
different nation.
And you've gotten 4 people from 4 countries.
Yeah, you could...
Who sound distinctly different.
You could boil down each of the different states of America to like a completely different culture. Or even just regions, maybe?
Regions more than anything else.
Yeah. The Lyran Commonwealth, I've heard described as dumb as bricks, but like richer than you can ever imagine.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, really.
Big money.
The reason they had mechs before anybody else is the Free Worlds League technically stole the documents first, but the Lyran Commonwealth had the money to field them first.
Doesn't decline, baby.
Exactly. There is a joke in the community that like a Lyran Scout Lance is not a bunch of light mechs. It's a bunch of heavy mechs that they will send in, and they don't scout by like trying to get information. They scout by walking directly into enemy territory and figuring out where they're getting shot at from.
Yeah.
So they're really bad military.
They're not the brightest, but man, do they have the money.
They have so much gun to their gun that it just works. It just doesn't matter. The Draconis Combine it's Imperial Japan. There's one guy who rules the entire thing, and everybody's like, you can tell it was written in the 80s because it's like 80s era Japanese stereotypes.
There's 50-50 on how that shakes out. How does it shake out?
Everybody's talking about honor.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, as for that, that's kind of where we're at.
I dig it.
As of this point, this is technically not modern Battletech, but this is like the basis for everything. There is like 100 years of history prior to this. I'd equivocate this to like everything up to the Horus Heresy in 40K.
Oh, there's a lot more then.
Yeah, up to the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, that means there's a lot more then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. We may get more Battletech in the future.
I think we will.
Like it. We'll see if they do.
If this goes over well, I will continue to cover the next.
When? Manifest, baby.
Manifesting. When this does well, I will write some more scripts for the next era, which is frankly my favorite, the clan invasion. And I need to study up on some of the next couple eras because they're not my strong suit. I mean, the game that I played a lot when I was in my childhood is part of an era in Battletech called the Jihad. Yeah,
okay.
Listen, they clutched it up in the end.
Yeah.
But I didn't like do a lot of digging into the. I was 4 years old.
It was big mechs running around, dude. You didn't do much digging.
I didn't do much digging.
Do I know the deep lore of Jack 3? No.
No.
I still play the hell out of it?
Yes. I just know I heard a lot of Word of Blake thrown around, and that was pretty much it. That's wow.
Actually, I think I do know the lore of Jack 3. That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
But yeah, that's Battletech. I would like to provide a big thanks to the editors at Sarna for a lot of this information because there was just so much. There's so much compiled on that wiki that like I would not have been able to write this without how many references there are in there. And user 1877 Clowns for Kids, that's with a K on the Battletech subreddit, for the consolidated timeline, because not only did it have like every event in order, but also book citations for everything that I needed. So if I didn't have the book and couldn't find a PDF somewhere...
That's so much smarter than my approach, dude. I will always like look for the book to double check.
Yeah, that's
just to be certain.
That's why I'm providing a great thanks to this user, because like I could not have done this without the book citations you provided in your timeline. Like, thank you. You don't know how much a consolidated timeline like that just
helps.
It helps so much. But yeah, that is the Succession Wars.
Yeah, I quite liked this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for being you.